welcome back to another video. This is in our series of 1000 Greatest Vinyl LPs from the wall behind me. And well, we've done 8 parts so far, some with 3 records in each part, some with 6. And today it's our 100th video. Yeah, whatever. So we're going to do 6, and I thought that we'd do 6 Iron Maiden. Put them in the Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden? Excellent!
Execute them.
Bogus!
Yes I am. And, well, it was quite tricky, I'll be honest, I'll level with you here. It was really tricky to pick out 6 Iron Maiden albums, because I've got quite a lot, and there are quite a lot. So before you start whining about how your favourite Iron Maiden album wasn't in these 6, tough. But some of the other albums will feature elsewhere in the 1000 Greatest Vinyl LPs, because let's face it, they are some of the 1000 Greatest Vinyl LPs ever recorded. So without further ado, my first choice is, well, it's one which you might be surprised to see on vinyl, and this is Rockin' Rio. This was a special edition triple picture disc set, and I've got some of the discs down here. Now, being picture discs, the sound quality isn't quite as good as they could be, but when you see the awesome source that is the discs, well, it's a sacrifice that well, I think it's worth making, and I did. And this is an excellent album. It's not the first time Iron Maiden have released a live album, but it's one of my favourites, and certainly it's got all of the good stuff on. And this came out, I think this was the tour when they got the classic lineup back together. Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith rejoined Iron Maiden after a period away, and got rid of Blaze Bayley, who'd been the stand-in singer. And I have to admit, those 2 albums that they did, it's like, it's not really Iron Maiden. But this is where the good stuff got back together. And I have got the album, Brave New World. It's not in these 6, but it will feature later on in the series. You get a lot of album for your money. I remember this being quite an expensive album at the time, but super limited edition. You get all of your lyrics in there, some fancy pictures. It is awkward to keep the records in the sleeve, because I tend to keep the sleeves in a plastic outer sleeve, and that's just to protect them from being scuffed, especially when they're going on and off the shelf. You don't want, especially something as rare as this, getting all scuffed and scabby. So they tend to live in a separate sleeve. But it is an excellent album, and it was Iron Maiden really coming back and saying, right, okay, I know we've had 2 albums, but we've got the classic lineup back. We are back, now sit up and take notice. And I did, to be honest. So that's Rockin' Rio. The next album that I chose, we're going to go right back on the rewind. That is so Tony Blackburn, yeah. But the next album that I've picked is actually their first commercially released album. This is Iron Maiden by Iron Maiden. And, you know, this is going right back. And, you know, we've got a slightly more basic cover, but we've got Eddie, who's really been with them right from the start there. And it's a Derek Riggs cover. He did all of their covers, certainly in the early years. And it is eye-catching. We've got the classic Iron Maiden font that you recognise anywhere. And on this album we've got Iron Maiden, which is an excellent track. You can really see why this group got big, and got big quick. As for other memorable tracks on here, Running Free, Phantom of the Opera, it is good. It's actually got the original singer, Tony Diagno, and some of the other early members like Doug Sampson. It is a good album. The production quality isn't quite as good as it could have been, and that really stands out when they brought out Number of the Beast, which was kind of like a compilation of all the good stuff, a lot of live tracks. They actually remastered some of the tracks off the early albums, and Iron Maiden, remastered from the original master tapes, is an incredible track. It's just a shame that really the production wasn't really quite up to the talent of the group themselves. But we're going to put that one to one side. And we're going to move on to the next album. And I know we started with Rock in Rio, but we're now going back and sort of chronologically a little bit. This was their third album, and this was the first album to feature Bruce Dickinson. Now, you probably looking at this and go, who's been scribbling on that album cover? Well, I met Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith, so, you know, as you do, I asked them to sign some stuff, and I happened to have with me a couple of albums, so I got them to sign it. But again, we've got your classic Derek Riggs cover, and it's quite nice to see that you've got the devil with the human on the marionette puppet strings, but of course they've then got Eddie who's controlling the devil by the same means. On the back we've got the group's lineup. How 80s that? How young do they look, all with their long hair? But this is an absolutely astounding album. Their second album, Killers, again, it really suffered from second album syndrome, but this, the third album, they really launched back and kicked rosy red bottom. And on this we've got Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue, Number of the Beast, Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name, amongst other things. This is a truly awesome album. A lot of samples on here from various things. We've also got, we've got the sample, Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath because he knows the time is short, etc, etc. And when they play live, that sample is often used. But also The Prisoner has a lovely sample from the TV series with Patrick McGoohan of the same name. And it is a well put together, well thought out album. And it really feels like so much effort has gone into not just the tracks themselves, but how they fit together. And I really do like that. Now, album number 4 from Iron Maiden, what could we possibly have? Well, I'm going to pick one at random from my little pile that's off camera here. And we're going to go with, this is my personal favourite, Somewhere in Time. This album is great in many respects, not just for the tracks that are on it, but also for the cover artwork. And there is a huge amount of references here to not only previous Iron Maiden tracks and albums, but also things in sci-fi, and also things that are important to the history of Iron Maiden. So, on the back, we've got the Ruskin Arms, which was a pub which I believe that long before they were signed, they played in a lot and possibly drank in a lot as well. But we've got the Pyramid from Powerslave. We've got Doctor Who's TARDIS up there. It looks like a Spitfire there, which is a reference to the track Aces High. We've got Long Beach Arena, which is where the first live album that they did, Live After Death, was recorded. We've got Batman there as well. Starship Enterprise. Grim Reaper, I think that is a reference to the cover artwork to Peace of Mind, which was their 4th album. We've got Asimov Foundation, Decker's Department Store, Terrell Corp. Also, The Meccan Lives in LA. That's the nickname for their manager. And that's referenced quite nicely on one of the B-side singles. If you get the single of, I believe it's Wasted Years, on the B-side is a really great track called The Sheriff of Huddersfield. If you haven't heard that, go and find it, listen to it, and love it. You know you want to. We've also got the Phantom Opera House mentioned here. Of course, Phantom of the Opera, a track off the first album. We've got Live After Death plus Blade Runner there, reference to the live album plus Blade Runner. Rainbow, an absent reference to some of their inspiration. We've also got tonight Gypsy's Kiss. Gypsy's Kiss, I believe, was a group that Adrian Smith was in before Iron Maiden. We've got Bradbury Towers there, Upton Park. That maybe, I don't do football, but I think that's where the football team that they support plays, something like that. There's probably a lot of references here that I don't know. Well, I can see them on the disc, but I don't know what they're referring to. But we turn it over there. We've got Acacia Avenue, Iron Maiden poster there. We've got even the KT symbol, Kate Bush. I don't know whether that's on purpose, but it does appear to be there. What else have we got in here? Well, there's a reference here to This ship looks very much like the one that's in The Watchmen that Night Owl has. I don't know whether that is a reference. Maybe, maybe not. We've even got the lamppost there off the original Killers album. You see the lamppost there in the background appears there. Well, you know, there we go. But on this album, though, we have Caught Somewhere in Time, Wasted Years, one of my favourite Iron Maiden tracks of all time, Strangers in a Strange Land, and The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. What's not to like about this album? It's also worth actually getting, as I mentioned before, some of the singles, certainly from this period of Iron Maiden, because the B-sides are well worth listening to, and they had a lot of sort of slightly comedy B-sides as well. Sheriff of Huddersfield off the Wasted Years single. But if we go to my next album on my list here, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, just to get ahead of myself a little bit, if you get yourself a copy of Can I Play With Madness, the B-side to that is Backbart Blues, which again is another bit of a comedy record there. We've got, again, this was the other album that I had with me when I met Adrian Smith and Bruce Dickinson, so it would have been rude not to get them to sign it. But this is actually the first Iron Maiden album that I ever heard. Right back when it came out, just looking for the year, I don't think it's, yeah, 1988. So I'd been in primary school, and my friend who was the year above me was mad on Iron Maiden. He was a real Iron Maiden nut, and he subjected me to this album that he had back in '88 far too much. And I have to say that the 9-year-old incarnation of me, giving my age away there, really was not impressed. And it just goes to show how your musical tastes change as you get older. The 9-year-old me really couldn't stand it, it just sounded like noise. But came back many years later and I actually do like this album. It's probably the album that heralded the biggest commercial success for them. I know some of the singles, things like Can I Play With Madness, they even feature on one of the Now albums. So, you know, it shows that they were really getting a big commercial breakthrough. But in terms of an album, I personally don't rate this as much as I would rate something like Somewhere in Time. That's not to say that it's a bad album, it's just that I felt that they jumped the shark a bit there. But, you know, some good tracks on this. Can I Play With Madness is awesome. Let's move on now. We've got one more album in our series of 6. And again, we've got the Derek Riggs cover artwork, and this is Powerslave. This is a very, very good album, but Derek Riggs is a bit of a joker. So when you look very closely at the sleeve artwork, the detail and the depth of detail on these, very much like the Somewhere in Time album, it's worth paying very close attention to these album covers. So we've got Indiana Jones Was Here, 1941. We've got Mickey Mouse on there. We've got What No Guinness. In the hieroglyphics there are a few nice little references there, but this is a very epic looking cover. On the back, again, more epicness going on there, and we've got the shadow of the Grim Reaper there, going back to Peace of Mind, and Eddie in the coffin looking all Egyptian pharaoh. But what tracks have we got on here? Well, this is the album that's got Aces High. It's also got 2 Minutes to Midnight, an awesome track. Flash of the Blade, Duelists, Powerslave, and Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So this very much is in the peak of the first grand golden age of Iron Maiden. Well, there we have it. 6 Iron Maiden albums. 6 of the best in my opinion. But there are other good Iron Maiden albums, and we will be visiting them at another video. Anyway, this has been me, Jenny Kirk, showing you through just a little bit of my vinyl collection and doing some more of the 1000 greatest vinyl LPs. And this is important, in my opinion. And also, they have to be in this wall behind me. So there are some great albums which I never quite got around to getting on vinyl. So it's not to say that they're bad, it's just that they're not abiding by the rules. And, well, I don't have a clipboard to tap, but rules is rules. Anyway, you take very good care of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and favourite this video if you really, really liked it. Share it if you think there's some other people who really need to see this. And don't forget to look back through the channel. We've got loads of model railway videos. We've got videos to do with my career in radio, in writing, But also we've got this series, 1000 Greatest Vinyl LPs. So keep on watching and we'll be keeping these videos on coming. You take care of yourself, my friends, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye for now. You there?
Yeah.
I need my person to press the stop. We have people to do this and it's not me.
Beep.